At one point, even that being sober, I was banned from Carnival for a talent search, which I got to the finals. And couldn't sing. I was so drunk, singing stupid, vulgar things on stage. And I was pulled off and I peed on some table with ladies. Alcohol, you see, when you talk about other drugs, heroin, cocaine, people will talk. When you start talking about alcohol, people resist because too many of us take alcohol. Alcohol is too close to too many of us. So we don't want that topic because I might be talking about myself, but somebody is looking at you or you are looking at yourself. So people find it a very uncomfortable topic. So again, the stigma which surrounds alcoholism, and stigma comes from ignorance. Anything we don't understand, we stigmatize, whether it's epilepsy, albinism, whatever, drug addiction. So by this time, you are making excuses because the alcohol is having an effect on my school. But I'm saying, oh, the teacher, there's a teacher there that doesn't like me, oh, I was sick. And so you started making excuses. You have started justifying. You are starting to enter the alternate or different or parallel universe. Because addicts, alcoholics always say, I am drinking because my spouse dresses badly, doesn't cook well, the boss honors me. It is always somebody or something's fault. So by the time I am clearing my Form 4 in Lenana and not doing so well, then I'm off to Aga Khan. Signs and symptoms were there from Form 3. Very clear, if people knew. But I would still go through my A-levels, and I'm giving excuses. And because nobody, including parents, want to go to that A word, addiction, people are also going, oh, no. David, you see, he's very unlucky. Always he's in classes with teachers who don't like him or what, but David is very bright. You see, so they also start making excuses on my behalf. And then A-levels I do very badly. Yeah? And then now I'm drinking that one of sleeping out. I'm coming after 3 days, 4 days. Same clothes, same everything. Yeah? They don't know where I am. Now, this is, by that time, very clear that the problem is alcoholism. But they're still saying, punguza. Can't you punguza? Your brothers drink, your father drinks, etc. Can't you just punguza and drink normally like everybody else? So even by this time, with very clear signs and symptoms, nobody is still saying that A word. Then they are told, send this guy to India. Because in India, as a student, he will not access alcohol. Remember that thing I was talking about, wet culture, dry culture. So I'm packed off to India, only to find that in India, some states are dry, there's no alcohol sold or whatever, some are wet, and I landed in a wet state, Rajasthan. So India, I've now been sent far away. You are sending money. I drank, I never entered a classroom. I went for a 3-year course, stayed for 4 years. The last year I was homeless, sleeping in parks, railway stations, bus stations. I had sold my passport in my 2nd year. And that is when now these people started saying, no, this one now, this is now not normal. This now must be this dreaded A word, alcoholism. But that one was when I was there. So I camp at the Kenya High Commission. I am finally brought back because I refused to leave the High Commission until they take me to the airport, put me on a plane, bring me back. And that's how I came back after 4 years. No passport, no degree, no luggage, no mzigo, nothing. In fact, I had dreads. I was taken by the High Commission. My hair was shaved like yours. Then I was brought back. Now, there they finally agreed this is alcoholism. But when I come back, me, I'm making excuses why I did not. So they say, okay. So my dad started getting me jobs. Not because I'm qualified, but because he had connections. And these jobs, I was serially sacked. I think I lost 4 or 5 jobs in 1 year. Then my dad said, die your own death. So my mother got me a job with Kenya Times. That time, editor-in-chief Philip Ochieng, deputy Cornelius Nyamboki, I think, yes. I was trained on that job. That is the longest job I have worked to date, 2.5 years. And even that one, I was sacked. And at that time, media, we were working 10 days, because you're working public holidays, weekends. So you work for 10 days, you get 4 days off. Now, the policy at Kenya Times was actually changed, that when Dave Ogot is paid, do not put him on the docket, wait for him to exhaust his salary. When he exhausts his salary, he will be back. And when he's back, he even works on his off days. So some people are being given warning letters, and they're asking, why are you giving us a warning letter? And this guy, you've even changed the policy that he's not put on the docket end of month, let him exhaust. What kind of work policy is that? And you're being unfair. And how I survived for 2.5 years, I would write feature stories. I remember one of them, dollars. By that time, you were not allowed to have dollars. You had to have a letter, foreign currency. So there was this story of fake dollars, wash. So I got some in one of the notorious 24-hour bars, Modern Green, Latema Road. So got the dollars, photographed the people. Then people were going to Mombasa. And me, I used to go, I play my guitar singing funny songs. So no matter how good I was, and they would actually say, I was doing comedy, I was doing entertainment, I was DJing. Even that one at a point got to a point where they would say, this guy is very good, but do not pay him before the event. Some would now say, we are giving you a contract on condition you are sober, which we will check. So when you arrive on stage or the hotel or wherever the venue is, and it's promoting an article, a place, business, you arrive, they have a standby. So they smell first and check and confirm, is this guy sober? So at one point, even that being sober, I was banned from Carnival for a talent search, which I got to the finals. And couldn't sing. I was so drunk, singing stupid, vulgar things on stage. And I was pulled off and I peed on some table with ladies. And I was banned from the carnival for years. So at this point, your name is proceeding with the subtitle. Do you know this guy's family? So and so? Yes, that's the part you are saying. But this is the son who is the drunkard, the mlevi. And a drunkard and an alcoholic are two different things. The symptoms are very similar. But a drunkard can control their drinking. It's a behavior. He drinks badly. And alcoholic drinks the way they drink as a disease. Has not got control. Once he drinks, that drinks him David A, David B. My problem was alcoholism. Addiction to ethanol, which is the psychoacting on your brain ingredient. So, well, you see people confused. Whether you drink changa, busa, moratina, all these local traditional brews, or the cheapest beer or whiskey, or the most expensive champagne, or whatever, what you are drinking is ethanol. And the more complicated the process in making it, the more refined it is, hence the more expensive. But you are drinking, the guy drinking a 20 bob glass of chana, and you drinking a 2,000 shilling a tot brand of other spirits, you are doing the same thing. My dad said a prayer. God, you see everything. You have seen, we have tried everything more than once to help our son. So we are reminding you, God, is also your son. We are handing him back to you. And instructed everybody, wachana with that guy. Don't go ask, why are you drinking? You need to stop drinking. All this, threatening if you don't stop drinking. Let him drink akufe, tumzike, ipumzika so that we also pumzika. So essentially what you are seeing, trying to help an addict or an alcoholic is very frustrating because nothing works. You see, my parents were public figures. Money was not the issue, you see. So you are trying to help somebody where your position, your money, nothing is helping. Yet everybody is saying, this is a very simple thing. May I drink? Everybody will say, may I drink? So everybody is telling you, we drink. See, upunguze, reduce, if that is the problem. So you are not understanding. Then I reach some very simple place, 200 shillings per day. Pit latrine. You are bathing with cold water in a basin. And in 14 days, I knew my problem. Some places where I was staying, room alone, before medication, before cost of psychiatrist, before other cost of tests, is 5,000. And this is in the 90s. So if you put it in today's money, now that's a lot of money. So here, 200 bob, 14 days. I knew my problem. And that is why I got so annoyed. I said, no, when I come out, I will tell people they are being cheated. So I was not even planning to open an office. My background is media, so I'm just going to use media. Tell people you are being cheated. Problem is not this, the problem is this. So one thing led to another. So you are on, you are on media, you're on a TV, I've written an article, you're on a radio station, somebody wants to talk to you, you need somewhere to sit. And that's how I ended up starting an office now and registering a trust shortly thereafter. You see, there's somebody we are trying to help right now from, she's in Mombasa, mature lady, running her own business. That is all I'll say, but I want her to watch. She just had a drink the other day after staying a while, some days, without drinking. Now, what I replied to her this morning is, once you realize, yes, can I drink? Yes, I can drink. If I go to a bar now, nobody, if somebody will not tell, oh, we saw you, you stop, we are not selling. I can drink. But the thing is, I cannot drink safely again, ever. Okay? So every time I drink, 99.9%, I will end in a mess. Okay? So just the same way in our houses, we have many poisons, rat poison, jig, whatever, detergents, etc. And you don't wake up with a craving. It is once you understand that I can drink, but I can never drink safely again. Once I drink, David B is in charge, and David B is a nasty fellow. David B will get me into messes. Then I categorize, for me, Gori, you might be able to drink. Fred, cameraman, might be able to drink.
I should not even try.
Yes, but for me, as an alcoholic, I put alcohol, for me, with rat poison, other poisons. To me, it is a poison. And once you understand that, the craving goes away. Because addiction works, apart from cannabis, but that's story of another time, in two parts, the physical and the mental. The physical, within 14, 15, 20 days, your body starts adjusting to zero. In my case, ethanol. But the big problem remains here. Because in my mind, I cannot perform unless I drink. I cannot talk to girls unless I cannot do this unless I drink. You see? So to me, that drinking is part of me. If I don't drink, where will I do my business deals? Where will I do this? Where, you see? And when you've drunk for that time, 27 years, suddenly you are being told for the rest of your life, you will not drink. It looks very good, and that's why we are told no, one day at a time. There were times I was doing 1 hour at a time. So once the addict can classify that for me, others might be able to drink safely, but for me, I cannot, then it becomes easier. So that whatever situation you end up with stress, we March 9th, when COVID was first announced, and we started, same day, we started getting calls. Not postponement of our functions, cancellations. So you're even trying to tell the people, no, can we just see direction this thing is going? You're being told, no, we have cancelled. We are not possible. We have cancelled for that foresee. And that was the same day we realized all our little income we get come from workshops, etc., churches, institutions, schools, blah, 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 gatherings. So overnight, our only little income we have was wiped out. None of us has relapsed. Our houses have been locked. Sometimes we are down to 1 meal a day. Me, there are days I've stayed 3 days drinking hot water. So I tell myself I'm detoxing. Not that there's no food. And my family understands. And others. None of us has relapsed. Because for us, we have realized if we go back to this track, now on top of all the problems we have, we are adding now past, now the mother of all problems, which also will take away our ability to solve these ones we have. You see? So once you can get somebody to that, you cannot crave for poison. Now, how do you define? And there are professors who lecture in very big universities, even in Western countries, etc., who have written books saying alcoholism is not a disease. Others say it is this. Others, these are professors who are teaching in very big universities. Okay? Now, I come from the school of thought that it is a disease. Unfortunately or unfortunately, my parents tried every method to help me, from prayers, free prayers, unaenda kanisa, to prayers now the pastor is paid to come to the house for me. To psychologists, to psychiatrists, finally to a witch doctor. And at the point when I was in a place where they come from the point of view, it is a disease, I knew my problem in 14 days. And this was in the year 2000. In fact, this month we're in October. This is my month of my second birthday, because I got to rehab in October 1, 2000. That is why one of the reasons why we set up also the Alcohol Awareness Month in October, which we started in 2004, and now this is the 17th edition. Alcohol, COVID-19 and alcohol is the theme. So, finally, President Uhuru Kenyatta, we've tried many presidents from Moi to Kibaki, and finally Uhuru, to declare what is the government's position on, again I will use alcoholism to represent other drug addiction. And President Uhuru finally declared alcoholism is a disease, which means as the president, that is the government's position. But you still find, on one hand, he has declared it a disease, which then means, according to the Constitution of Kenya, you cannot discriminate against me on the basis of a disease. Which means instead of sacking me once you confirm I am suffering from alcoholism, you need to put me into a treatment program. Which means your institution, whether government or private, must have a policy that when you find amongst your staff alcoholics or other drug addicts, what program do you have to help them? And this includes the addicts called smokers, which is just a politically correct name for a nicotine addict, but an addict. The problem is very big. The problem is getting worse. I've told you the awareness month we are doing this year. The theme is alcohol and COVID-19. I have been stating, and I will repeat, COVID-19 was shone a spotlight on all sectors, transport, education, where there are weaknesses. Okay, it's shown and now focused the spotlight. And in the drug zone, to me, COVID was a blessing. The window is closing, but we had an opportunity, very high opportunity, which is now closing, where we would have been able to treat every alcoholic and other drug addict in Kenya free by the government. free, and that opportunity is still there, but the window is closing. And in doing so, we would have also boosted many businesses which have had to close, which were being, needed gatherings. Okay, so that's a story of another time. But as I said, President Uhuru declared it a disease. And to paraphrase Mutahi Kagwe, one of my t-shirts, says President Uhuru declared alcoholism a disease. If he can get it, I can get it, you can get it. The problem is, we haven't got it. We still say it's not a disease. We still say it's this. You remember my 200 experts, 200 different things. And that is why with all the resources which have been thrown in since 2001, when I left rehab on February 4, 2001, all the resources which have been put to address, which were not there. Why is the problem getting worse? It is because even though the president has declared it a disease, so that is the direction to take, there are too many other vested interests who will not be served by going with the disease. And me, I can only say and vouch for the one which worked for me. Because my start to stop was 27 years. This is my 20th year sober. So I have still 7 more years where I can say 27 drunk, 27 sober, and then 8 more where I can say now I've been more sober than I've been high. And as I said, alcoholism is very complicated. And we should listen to people who talk clearly about it, because if we continue treating alcoholism normally, it will definitely treat us abnormally.